Good afternoon, YouTubers. Welcome back into another edition of Astros Recap. It is 2:29 p.m. Monday, usual day, 5/22, May 22nd, 2023, of course, as we are here again. It is a Monday. A few things I got to talk about before I get going. One, last week, the audio was not very good. I apologize for that. I mean, when I get on this, I have to double and triple check my mic settings to make. I don't know if my brand new mic, which is sitting right here, I don't know if that was working last week. And we've had issues in the past where it's not even set up correctly. So, what I'm looking at right now, this mic should be working. Audio should be almost as good as it can get. So, I apologize last week. This week should be better with the audio, so I'll say that to start. I did try this once again at the iHeart Studios last night after I got off. Once again, my file types did not transition to YouTube like I had hoped, so I might just have to stick with this at least for the remainder of this year, or find something else, find a different way. But I know doing podcasts at the radio, like I listen to those after they're done. Not all of them, or not all of the actual, not the 15-20 minutes it takes, but the audio is as crystal clear as it gets. So audio should be better this week because I got the right mic. But a lot of issues with these podcasts lately. Trying something different hasn't worked the way I'd hoped. So anyway, we're back here. It's Monday. The Astros played about 4 hours, 6:30, 6:40. They play the Brewers. Recap last week. It was a perfect week, and the Astros went 6-0. So I can't sit here and be totally negative, which is something I usually am when it comes to the Astros, especially when they're not winning. But I mean, they were 6-0. I mean, they did what they should have done against the A's. A's are the worst team in baseball by a pretty large margin. I don't think they've won 10 games yet. We'll look at things here in a minute as I think and talk here. But I hate going into any series saying sweep, obviously. And I've said that. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care if it's home or away. I never go into any series expecting sweep. And the times I've done that, the Astros actually really stink up the joint and they end up losing 2 or 3 or something along those lines. So anyway. But they took care of business against the A's. They probably should have won 2 or 3. Well, not probably. I mean, they swept the Cubs as well. But that third game, that Wednesday game, they were down, 6-1 going into the 8th inning. So, I was wrapping things up for a 2 out of 3 in that series, and the Astros scored 6 runs in the final 2 innings to win. So, one thing, fan again blowing. I don't know if that makes a difference sound quality-wise, but the fan is blowing. So, just making sure that mic is turned on there. But the fan is blowing, so if there's any background noise, just know that, my face will get super red if it's not. So, back to the Astros. All right, so perfect week. We'll take you through some games. I know the last few weeks I really haven't done that, more so just talking about the lineup, pitchers, things like that. But I want to take you through some of the games this week because that's something I've sort of alleviated the last, 3 weeks now. So, now, the Astros haven't played amazing baseball. Now, they've won 7 in a row, but a lot of these games, it's not like they're firing on all cylinders or anything like that. Monday's game against the Cubs, we had an early 4-1 lead. Frommer gave up a big 3-run shot, tied the game. Bregman hit a 2-run home run to score the final 2 to win that 6-4. Tuesday was pretty easy, 7-3. Javier was pretty solid. J.P. France in the third game there was not. That was the game where they were down 6-1. Now the bullpen did a great job. They went, I think, 5 1/3 scoreless innings because J.P. France didn't get very deep, and he wasn't very good. But the bullpen came in, did a good job. Bullpen has stepped up of late, so I will give them credit where credit is due. For instance, Montero, he's been the one sort of. Stanik's been really shaky. Seth Martinez has had his issues. I think Martinez and Stanek the last 2 outings have actually done pretty well, though. Or know what you're going to call it, but I feel like the last few times I've seen them out of the bullpen, they've at least done their job, kept things where they're at. So, but Montero had a very bad stretch there where had just lost completely all faith. The last 3 outings, he's been not rock solid, 1, 2, 3 innings, but he's at least been scoreless. So, yes. But I want to tap into this Wednesday game because to give you, let's see here, box score, Astros down here. But JP France, he didn't get out of the 4th. He went 4 and 2/3. No, 3 and 2/3. So 5 and 1/3 for the bullpen. And they were all scoreless. Martinez got a single out. Also walked a guy. Actually, he got 4 outs. Gave up a hit, walked a guy, but scoreless. Stanek in his inning gave up a hit, walked a guy, struck out 2. That's kind of what Stanek and Martinez are. They'll walk, they give up some hits, but as long as they're not giving up runs, I'll take it. Montero had a scoreless inning, walked a guy, struck out a guy. Neris has been very solid. I've been very happy with Hector Neris so far. A guy really going into the season. I've not been very high on Neris just because I think he's very inconsistent. But so far this year, 1.40 ERA is very good. So, but he did get a hit and also walked a guy, struck out a guy. Abreu came in, got the win. A lot of hits given up, I feel, by the bullpen, or walks. I feel like every pitcher here hit, walk, struck out a guy, basically. But, no runs allowed. In fact, the Cubs left 14 guys on base. That was sort of the story of the game. They had a chance to really, open up the lead big time, and they really couldn't do it. And the Astros hung around, and their bats got hot in the last 2 innings there to score some runs. So that was good to get the sweep. Wasn't expecting that. Off day Thursday, and then they played pretty good baseball on Friday, but the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, not so much. Scored 3 runs Saturday. Alvarez had the big home run to put him ahead when it was tied 2-2. And then yesterday scored 2 runs. Should have been more. We'll get to that in a minute here. But, the offense really didn't do a whole lot. And now they're in Milwaukee. Like I said, they play in 4 hours, so hopefully the bats can reignite. And it'll be Javier pitching tonight. But, again, as I look back, you've won 4 consecutive series. You had a little bump in the road after playing Tampa Bay in late April, losing 3 straight series to the Phillies, the Giants, and the Mariners, but have bounced back here. So, yeah. So anyway, a few things pitching-wise. Fromber's been a little shaky. He did win, like yesterday's game. Complete game shutout, something I haven't mentioned yet. But Fromber's been good. Well, ERA-wise, he's 4-4. He hasn't been perfect. Hopefully he'll start to settle into sort of. He's the ace of the staff, and he has to be the ace. And I feel like, I remember that playing the Angels like two weeks ago on Wednesday. He came out in a big start against Ohtani. Or maybe that was Tuesday's game. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday's game where the Astros had lost a few in a row, and it was time to, have a stopper, and I felt like he did great, going 7, giving up one run, and to beat Ohtani, that was a big deal for the Astros. And I feel like yesterday he was great. Not particularly good on Monday, but the Astros still able to get the win. Just look at Fromber's numbers real quick, because he is the ace of the staff, and he has to be the ace of the staff. He has to be the guy. But he is 4-4, ERA 2.45. I'm cool with the ERA the way it is. Would like a few more wins, but those have sort of been just, we'll wait. But, he complete game shutout, 4 hits, didn't walk a single guy, struck out 7. That's an ace quality start. He went 9 innings. No runs, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts. 4-4. So you don't like the win-loss total there. But hopefully things will get better in that regard. And the ERA at 2.45, if it's below 2.5, that's great. So, yeah. think Javier could be a little better. He starts tonight. But I think Christian Javier, for the most part, his strikeout numbers have that started a little low, which is surprising because usually Javier gets, strikeouts. That's sort of his game, or that's been his game in previous years. First few starts he didn't, but I feel like the last few, the strikeout numbers have picked up. So, but to get his numbers here for you, this should be an easy one to find because he starts tonight. He's 4-1. Record is good, but ERA is over 3. Not terrible, 3.25. Could be better. Hopefully it gets better. But to dig in a little deeper here on Javier, let's see if I can find this. In 52 and 2/3 innings this year, he's got 59 strikeouts. And his whip is under 1 at .97. So that's pretty good. Since I skipped that stat on Fromber, I'll go back and get that for you here. If this will allow me to. App so far is working good. At least, let's see here. To dig deeper on Fromber, he's got 72 strikeouts in 66 innings and a 1.03 whip. So, yeah. And then the other guy in the rotation, Hunter Brown, who is the 5th starter, but with the injuries, he's sort of now the 3rd starter. But Hunter Brown, let me find that in those numbers. That was a Saturday start. Hunter Brown, I can't remember exactly. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, and 1 of them earned. Struck out 9, walked nobody. But Hunter Brown, sort of as your 3rd guy. See if I can see. Sometimes this clicks, sometimes it doesn't. Hunter Brown. He's got 56 strikeouts in 50 and 2/3, 1.26 whip. He's also 4-1. So, I mean, the win-loss record for Brown and Javier are good, not so much for Valdez. So that's always a weird stat, but needs to get better. I would take a mid. Yeah, Hunter Brown was my preseason rookie of the year, which still could happen. But the ERA, I think, needs to drop for him to be in consideration for that. So anyway, I won't really go into getting into JP France and Brandon Bielak. They've done okay. Now France was bad his last outing. Bielak's been fine in his 3 outings. Now he doesn't get very deep, and he allows more hits, a lot of hits. But I feel like he hasn't really imploded, giving up a ton of runs. So they're going to stick with what they got right now. But yeah, I mean, you got Valdez, Javier, Brown, sort of your top 3 of the rotation. That's so far so good. I can't complain. The Astros' issues this year, thus far, has been the offense. I mean, there's no doubting that's been the problem. Things getting better. Bregman was very good against Chicago in the 3-game set there. Not as good against Oakland. We'll see what he gives us this coming road trip. Abreu's the same guy. But obviously issues in the lineup are magnified when the team's losing like they were 2-3 weeks ago. I mean, I know last week I killed Jose Abreu, who deserves it. And this is probably Dusty Baker's fault because Dusty won't drop him in the lineup. You're going to play Abreu every day? That's fine with me if he's hitting 7th or lower. 4th, 5th, whatever it is, it kills the lineup. And yesterday was a prime example of it. I mean, you had bases loaded, 1 out. Now you're already leading 2-0 at this point, so it's not like it was a big sort of tie game, Astros down a run type situation. So it didn't kill the team necessarily. But you got Abreu hitting 4th, which is stupid. Hits into a ground ball double play in the inning. And just thinking, I don't know what's going to take. Lineups haven't come out as far as I know for today yet. Let's see. Did they come out? No, have not come out yet. So, anyway, yeah. I don't know what to take. What's it going to take for Dusty to get Jose Abreu out of the 4 or 5 hole in the lineup, move him down to 7 because that's where he should be. I don't know why Dusty is playing this game. I mean, Abreu is a guy, we know who he is this year, and I don't think things are actually going to change. With Bregman, we've seen him break out of things in the past, not fully. Like he might break out in like a month, but that's about it. Playoffs, he's been good. I think Abreu might be who he is, and you just have to eat the contract at this point and just deal with it. And if he's hitting 7th, then I'll deal with it. I can't deal with it when he hits 4th or 5th. So that's the big issue I have, and that is on Dusty Baker, who fills up the lineup card every day. That's the issue I have on Jose Abreu. I'm not going to sit here every week and complain. I mean, I could, but I mean, it's you know, he'll single every other day. He'll go 0 for 4, 1 for 4. And his single will be a little blooper, a little bleeder that finds a hole. That's who Abreu's been this year. And why should I think it's going to change at this point? We're 2 months in, basically. Why should I? What have I seen from Abreu? I've seen absolutely zero from Abreu that makes me even think that he could break out of this. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he can. But there's no reason to believe he can at this point. So with him, I'm done with that. I mean, but if he continues to hit 4th, I'm not going to blame Jose Abreu. I'm going to blame Dusty Baker because that's his problem at that point. So yeah, I'm going to try to get some numbers here. Let's see. For the Astros. So Altuve's back. One thing I brought up. He's 222. He's played 2 games. I mean, he got his first hit on Saturday. Drove in a run yesterday. He's hitting leadoff. He'll get better, I think, as the time goes by. One thing I've noticed, only 2 games, he's been more patient. Altuve is usually one of those guys, if he likes the first pitch, he goes hacking. But I feel like he's worked the count a little bit more these last 2 games. We'll see if that's something that continues, but that's usually not Altuve's approach. Bregman up to 218. Actually didn't rise that much. I think he was 204 when I talked to you last Monday. Now, it did raise, obviously, against the Cubs, but I think he fell back a little bit against Oakland, so 218 still isn't good enough. Not even close. Alvarez, 293, still the man. Abreu hitting 215. Abreu, 215, Bregman, 218. That's the issue in the lineup, those 2 guys. The issue. Those 2 guys. That's yeah, big issue. Tucker 276, fine. Pena dropped a little bit, I think 8 points. He was 255, I believe. He's down to 247, so that needs to. Pena needs to hit at least 250 for me to be okay with him. So Myers 263, that's gone up. He was actually down to 240s or even 230, high 230s at one point, but he had a good week. It needs to be starting every day in center field. McCormick 246. He just got back. He hasn't had a ton of plate appearances, but we'll see with McCormick again. He struck out twice yesterday. I'll be okay with McCormick if he doesn't strike out a billion times like he does. And Moldy, he had 2 hits yesterday. Averages at 200. That's sort of the benchmark for me and Moldy. If he stays at 200, I'll take it. I still think Diaz should get more starts. Hensley was the one that actually got option to AAA for Altuve. A little surprising there because, I mean, you have Cesar Salazar on the team who's played like, 2-3 games all year? That'd be the easy option, you thought. I mean, Hensley deserves to be optioned. He's been terrible this year. But the Astros, I don't know who play this game where they like players to go back to AAA to get more at-bats. Consistent at-bats. Like, that's the whole story with Corey Lee. That's why he's in AAA, is to get consistent at-bats. I guess they're going to play that game with Hensley as well. And I don't know how well Corey Lee's been this year. I don't keep up with the minor league stats. Maybe it's something I can start to do a little bit. But, yeah, Diaz needs to start more. Whether it's behind the plate, playing first base. Dubon needs to be in the lineup more. You got to find a spot for him. And, with Altuve back, obviously, he's not going to get second base unless Altuve gets a DH day or something like that. But Dubon can play anywhere. I mean, really, I've heard stories about him getting work pregame at first base. Diaz needs to play a little bit more first base. But I think Dubon's a bat that needs to be in the lineup more often than not. So, yeah. But, yeah. I'm coming up on 20 minutes. I'll wrap things up there. Again, hopefully audio is good. Everything sounds pretty crystal clear. If there's a background noise, again, it's the fan here. But I need the fan. I need something. I need air blowing on me, because if I can't use this fan over here, if I can't use this fan right there, it's distracting if it's spinning. I gotta use this fan because it gets super hot in this room if that's not the case. Anyway, yeah. Love to hear your comment section below. What did I leave out? What am I missing? Let me know. Love to hear your thoughts, comments on the Astros yourself. Now, they're still 2 games out of first place. Rangers continue to sort of win. I don't think that will continue. Astros now 8 games over 500. So you look up and, they were 6-0 this week. So, but 27-19. So just try to continue to get the wins. You play the Brewers. Quick update here. What are the Brewers doing this year? They're in first place. Now they're 25-21, so it's not a amazing first place record, but they're decent. Better than Oakland and Chicago, that's for sure. So, and then we'll travel to Oakland after that. So you get Oakland again this weekend. So yeah, Oakland's 10-38. Yeah, that's pretty bad. 10-38. 20 games out of first place already. Anyway, yeah, wrap things up there. Talk to you next week.